Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised. On the night of December 30th, 2000, the second to last night of the millennium, someone broke into a family home in the Setagaya neighborhood of Tokyo's Setagaya ward. He killed everyone inside. A father. A mother. An 8-year-old girl. A 6-year-old boy. Then he didn't leave. For approximately 10 hours, while the bodies of the family lay in the rooms around him, the killer remained inside that house. He ate their food. He used their computer. He treated his own wounds at their sink. He slept on their couch. Then, at some point before dawn, he left. He left behind his jacket. His bag. His shoes. His fingerprints. His DNA. His own blood. His own feces. Evidence enough to identify him 10 times over. 25 years later, he has never been found. This is the Setagaya family murders. One of the most baffling unsolved crimes in Japanese history. And as of late 2025. A case that just got a development that changes everything investigators thought they knew about who they were looking for. Before we go inside that house, we need to talk about who lived there. Mikio Miyazawa was 44 years old. He worked in the IT industry, a quiet, hard-working man in a profession that was booming in Japan at the turn of the millennium. He was known in the neighborhood as reliable, friendly, unremarkable in the best possible sense. His wife Yasuko was 41. A homemaker, deeply involved in her children's lives and in the rhythms of their quiet suburban street. Their daughter Nina was 8 years old. Their son Ray was 6. It was the kind of family that existed in thousands of neighborhoods across Tokyo, ordinary, content, invisible in the way that happy families tend to be. They lived in a 2-story house on a residential street in Setagaya, a neighborhood in Setagaya ward known for being quiet, safe, and largely unremarkable. The kind of neighborhood where people left their doors unlocked. Where children played in the street. The Miyazawa family was exactly where they were supposed to be on the night of December 30th, 2000. Safe at home. Together. On the eve of the new year. What the reconstruction of events, pieced together over months of forensic work, tells us about that night is this. The killer entered the Miyazawa home sometime during the evening of December 30th. The exact time has never been established with certainty. He entered through the garden, possibly through a sliding door or window at the rear of the property. He killed Nina first. She was found in the garden. She had been stabbed. Then he entered the house. Mikio was killed in a downstairs room. Yasuko was killed upstairs. Ray, 6 years old, was found strangled in an upstairs room. The violence was not subtle. This was not a quiet, clinical attack. It was frenzied, brutal, and deeply personal in its intensity, even though there is no known connection between the killer and the Miyazawa family. No established motive. No prior relationship. A family, killed in their own home by someone who had no discernible reason to be there. And then. The detail that has haunted this case for 25 years. He stayed. The physical evidence of those 10 hours is extraordinarily detailed. The killer raided the refrigerator. He ate ice cream. He cooked food. He sat at the family computer and browsed the internet, leaving behind browser history that investigators have studied exhaustively. He treated a wound on his hand at the bathroom sink, suggesting he had cut himself during the attack. His blood mixed with the family's. It would later become the most important piece of evidence in the entire case. He took off his shoes. He lay down on the couch. At some point before Yasuko's mother arrived the next morning, he put on a different pair of shoes. He left his own behind. And he walked out of that house and into a city of 12 million people. What the killer left inside the Miyazawa home was, by any measure, an extraordinary amount of forensic material. His jacket, a distinctive sweatshirt that investigators spent years trying to trace. His hip bag. The murder weapon. His fingerprints on multiple surfaces throughout the house. His DNA in blood samples, in biological material, on every surface he touched. More than 5 million fingerprints have been taken and police have conducted approximately 1.3 million DNA comparisons. Yet no matches have been found either in Japan or abroad. The sweatshirt became one of the most searched items in the history of Japanese criminal investigation. Police learned that 130 of those particular sweaters had been sold in Tokyo but were able to track down the owners of only 12. The remaining 118 have never been accounted for. Every year, Tokyo Metropolitan Police display a mannequin wearing a replica of the sweatshirt at Seijogakuenmi Station. Handing out flyers, appealing for anyone who recognizes it to come forward. Every year, nothing. The computer browsing history was analyzed in extraordinary detail. The killer had visited specific websites, including sites in foreign languages. The nature of those sites, and the languages involved, fed into the growing theory that the killer was not Japanese. His sand-covered shoes suggested he had been near a skate park before entering the house. Police identified a skate park nearby and spent months interviewing every skater who had used it. Nothing. What the evidence did eventually reveal, through painstaking DNA analysis, was a profile of the killer that investigators have spent 25 years trying to match to a real person. The DNA recovered from the Miyazawa home told investigators something remarkable, and deeply unusual. Analysis revealed that the killer has a mother of European descent, possibly from a country near the Mediterranean or Adriatic Sea. Analysis of the Y chromosome revealed that his father is of Asian descent, with the DNA appearing in 1 in 4 or 5 Koreans, 1 in 10 Chinese, and 1 in 13 Japanese. The killer is of mixed heritage. A father from East Asia. A mother from somewhere near the Mediterranean or Adriatic, Italy, Croatia, Greece, Albania, or nearby. This is an extraordinarily specific genetic profile. And it is a profile that, for 25 years, has matched nobody in any database anywhere in the world. For 2 decades, investigators operated on the assumption that the killer was young at the time of the murders. His clothing. His apparent physical agility. The sand from the skate park. Everything pointed toward a teenager or young adult. Police estimated his age at 15 to 22. Then came the 2025 breakthrough. In late 2025, investigators utilized advanced DNA methylation analysis, a science that can accurately estimate a person's age based on how their genes degrade over time. The results forced police to rewrite their entire profile. The new data suggests the killer was actually in his 30s when he killed the Miyazawa family. If that analysis is correct, everything investigators thought they knew about who they were looking for was wrong. The young man they had been hunting for 25 years was not a young man at all. If he is still alive today, he is likely a man in his late 50s or early 60s. The scale of the investigation into the Setagaya family murders is almost impossible to comprehend. At various points, over 200,000 officers have been assigned to the case. Tips have been received and investigated from across Japan and internationally. Every piece of evidence has been re-examined as new forensic technology has become available. And yet, nothing. Theories have proliferated over the years. An investigative journalist named Fumiya Ichihashi published a book arguing that the Miyazawa family was killed by a contract killer from South Korea, claiming they had refused to sell their land as part of a redevelopment scheme. Police investigated these claims but could not substantiate them due to insufficient evidence. Others have theorized that the killer was a foreign national, possibly a student or worker in Japan on a temporary visa, who left the country before investigators had established the DNA profile that might have caught him. The house itself still stands. Flowers, drinks, and other offerings are still being placed in front of a fence along the property. The family of the victims visit every year. A grandmother who found her daughter and grandchildren dead on the morning of December 31, 2000 has spent 25 years without answers. The statute of limitations for murder does not apply in Japan. The case remains open. If the killer is still alive, he can still be charged. He can still be tried. He can still face justice for what he did inside that house on the last night of December 2000. Somewhere, possibly in his late 50s or early 60s now, possibly in Japan, possibly on the other side of the world, a man is living his life. Knowing what he did. Knowing what he left behind in that house. Knowing that after 25 years, they still haven't found him. Mikio Miyazawa was 44 years old. Yasuko was 41. Nina was 8. Rei was 6. They were killed in their own home. By someone who then spent 10 hours inside that home, eating their food, using their computer, sleeping on their couch, before walking away into a city that swallowed him whole. He left behind enough evidence to fill an entire investigation. Fingerprints. DNA. Clothing. Personal items. A wound that bled his own blood across their bathroom sink. 25 years. 5 million fingerprints. 1.3 million DNA comparisons. 200,000 officers. And nothing. The Setagaya family murders are not a cold case in the traditional sense. The evidence is warm. The DNA is there. The fingerprints are there. The profile is there, and in late 2025, significantly updated. What is missing is not evidence. What is missing is a name. Subscribe if this case stayed with you. And leave a comment, where do you think the killer is now? And do you think the 2025 DNA breakthrough will finally change everything? I really hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.